Hello, welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have another beer from Zillicoah Brewing Company out of Woodfin, North Carolina, which is like right outside of Asheville, so most people consider them an Asheville brewery. Even got my Zillicoah hat on, which was literally a fluke. I wasn't even thinking about that. You can see there, it's a Zillicoah label, and this beer is their Kellerpils. So this is the first time, to my knowledge, that they've packaged, other than Crowlers, which I don't really consider that packaging, that they packaged something that wasn't part of their Wild Ale series, one of their lagers. They did do like wild lagers, but that's completely different. And I will say I love these like stubby 12-ounce. They're not grenade bottles like Mickey's grenades, but they're kind of in that same realm though. I do like these a lot. But you can tell by the name this is a Kellerpils. It is 4.9 ABV. I've shared a lot of Zillicoah beers with people from Pittsburgh, and 9 out of 10 of them are very, very impressed. But I have always told people, like, yeah, these wild ales are really, really good, but that's not even, at least in my opinion, that's not even the best thing that they do. Their lagers and, like, English style, like when they make, like, 3% bitters and that type of thing, that's really where they shine the most. I think everything they make, I've never had an even remotely bad beer from them. But those are the things that actually blow me away the most, because there are companies that are doing wild ales as good as the Zillicoah ones. I think several of them have been very unique. They've all been very good, but there have been breweries that have that do similar stuff. But I think the stuff that they're doing with their German and English styles, really, I don't know that there's any American brewer that's doing them quite as good as they are, at least from what I've had on tap there. So I was really excited that they finally packaged one, and I can't wait to crack it open. I really hope that they, package more of their lagers and non-wild stuff. I know in the beginning of this year, I guess they were brewing at Eurisco for 2 years, which I had no idea. That's even crazier to me that they were making all that quality stuff on something that wasn't even being made in-house. That's just nuts. But supposedly now they have a 15-barrel system, and this is one of the first things that came off of it, because I imagine most of the wild ales that came out this year were probably made before that, and they've been in barrels for a while. So I don't know if I said this before, it's 4.9 ABV. I'm going to crack it open and see what we got. I've been looking forward to drinking this all day. And let's see if I can figure this out. I just got this thing. There we go. I don't know what the heck I was doing. Someone got me. This is a gift. I think it's pretty cool. You can't lose it. It has a bottle opener on the claw end of the hammer, and then I guess this is supposedly to break up ice and stuff if you needed to, but it could be multifunctional for several reasons. I just realized now this is probably not the most appropriate glass for this, but it is what it is, so I'm going to use it. It is freshly cleaned and rinsed, however, so. So you can see it pours a semi-cloudy straw color, which is standard for a Kellerpils, which is unfiltered, with a white head, not super big, but it's definitely staying around. I didn't pour it like very aggressively either, so I'm sure that's part of it. Oh. I get a lot of like if you just like crack two-row malt, it almost has like a sourdough smell to it. So not just like normal grains, but it's almost like a sigillated malt. But there's also like a lot of and this probably goes hand in hand with that part that I said is like a sour note. Is there's like a lot of lemon zest, and there's some like minerality to it too, which is kind of interesting for a pilsner. But I will say I'm used to this from their lagers and stuff because they all just have this really unique like earthy tone to it, and that's definitely what I'm getting from this. There is a little bit of like spiciness as well. I don't mean like peppers, but just like noble hop. I don't know. It smells great though. I can't wait to taste it. Wow, that is very very good. I will say it is a lot more bitter than I was expecting it to be, given the aroma, and that is not a bad thing at all. Um, this is definitely like a true traditional pilsner, like the level of bitterness is. But the thing that I think is interesting is it has that really big doughy, crackery pilsner malt flavor without having the like residual sweetness that you usually get with that I think is kind of inappropriate in a pilsner. Um, so the hop bitterness is really like there's enough to make it like not super bitter, like IPA bitter, but the sweetness is pretty low. This is very very dry, but it also has like a big bready, crackery, doughy flavor, but none of that like the sweetness that comes with that a lot of times. And there's just something like very earthy and grassy about it as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know what else to say about it because sometimes simple is best, um, especially when you're dealing with something like a pilsner. And this is like it's very nuanced, but at the same time, it's very traditional and simple. And if you can do to me, if you can hit both of those marks with a lager, that's when it's really stand out. And there's not a lot of breweries that can do that because there's some breweries that are able to do like American brewers, I'll say, because obviously German breweries are on a different level because that's kind of where it all started. But for American lager makers, a lot of times like the good ones are very traditional, but they kind of there's nothing that stands out about this. But this has like this very light character. I don't know if it's that minerality that I was saying I was getting, but there's something about this. It's like a little more like rustic than a traditional pilsner, but it hits all of the marks of a traditional pilsner on top of it. And the mouthfeel is great. It's like super soft, but also highly carbonated at the same time. And that's another thing that I've said to people about Zillicoah and why I like them so much. Every one of their beers, the carbonation level is just perfect. Um, they're always like super appropriate for what they are. If they make like a really nice like caramelized dark lager, it's a little less carbonated than something like this. It's just all very appropriate. Uh, it's probably obvious by what I've been saying, but on my scale of buy, drink, dump, this is absolutely a buy. Uh, I don't know what this costs. I split a 6-pack of this with somebody. Thank you for. I don't want to drop names just because I don't like doing that, but thank you. You know who you are if you watch this. Who got this for me? I appreciate it. Excuse me. But I don't know what this costs because I got it on top of like several other Zebulon beers too, so it was all in one big package. So I don't know what it was individually, but I don't care. Like basically, as long as if this was a $30 6-pack or less, which means $5 a bottle. Hell, if it was a $40 6-pack, I would buy it. I don't care. This is a delicious beer. which I know that there's no way it was more than that. But so yes, another killer Zillicoah beer. They are. I go back and forth between my favorite North Carolina breweries. It's those guys, Bavana, um, Resident Culture, Fauna Flora, um, and every time I have one of their beers, it makes me think that even though I love all those other ones, that these guys are just at the top. Because it's not. I love all those other ones because they just make a lot of really good beers in different styles. But these guys are making every beer I've had from them in each style is lights out. Like some of the best that I've had in each style. And I don't know that I could say that for any of those other ones. Maybe a couple styles, but not like across the board. And these guys are just making absolute bangers for everything, which is crazy. Uh, but I could ramble on about them forever, but I'm going to stop. So that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.